Good morning, garden friends. I'm back in the market garden, and today I have an exciting project, one that I've been planning for months now, and I'm just finally getting to it. Today I'm going to be planting 2 fruit trees here in the market garden, and the fruit trees are multi-variety, all grafted onto one trunk, and they're in espalier form. So my plan is to plant these trees here in the market garden and attach them to a fence and train them along the fence in a compact manner so that they're at eye level and easy to pick, and yeah, hopefully will look really cool. What I'm going to do is take these first 2 rows 1 and 2 here in the market garden. Row 2 here has been covered with plastic most of the summer, and row 1 has been was planted with garlic, Sue's garlic, the back half of it, and she's harvested her garlic and moved on. And this front patch is a bit weedy, but I'm going to take these 2 rows and combine them into one bed and plant the trees in the middle of the beds and put the fencing behind them. And so this will be one like fruit tree section, if you will. So I've got a bit of work to do. Let me show you these trees. Here in my wagon, I've got 2 trees. This first one here is a 6-in-1 apple tree. And you can see we have a single trunk coming out of the pot, and off to the sides here, there are 6 different varieties. We have Granny Smith. I've already made up tags for these. This is Yellow Delicious, Honeycrisp, Liberty, Fuji, and which one is this one? This is Gala. So we have 6 varieties on one trunk, and they've been trained into this nice horizontal espalier shape. Behind it, over here, you can see, I have this pear tree, and it too is trained in an espalier shape, but there are 4 varieties, only 4. And on this tree, I've got Anjou. Uh-oh, did I lose a tag? Oh, there it is. Bartlett, Flemish Beauty, and I believe this is Red Bartlett. Now, these poor trees have been sitting in their pots since I purchased them in May, I believe it was. They've been up on the greenhouse pad. And the flies today, the black flies, I don't know what they are. They're not black flies. They're some other pestilence. They're really fighting today. I'm going to have to put my head net on in a little bit. Anyway, these fruit trees have been sitting out on the greenhouse pad since probably May. I've been fertilizing them and watering them. This one apple bit got attacked by some sort of caterpillar pest that I managed to pull off, but it did some damage to the leaves. Yeah, so they desperately need to get into the ground, like now. And actually, coming into fall is a good time to plant anything because the weather's cooler and it gives them a chance to get their roots established before the ground freezes. So I'm gonna get these poor things into the ground today, and yeah, hopefully I can get this project done in one day. I'm not sure. We'll see how my energy level progresses as I dig. But the important thing is to get these in the ground today. If I can do that, then I'll be happy. Hopefully I can get the fencing up with the help of my husband, and get the bed all built up and amended the way I'd like. So yeah, let's get going. First thing I have to do is take this tarp off row 2 and maybe do a little bit of weeding, and then I'm going to fill in the aisleway in the middle with some good topsoil and compost, because that's about where I'm going to be planting these guys. All right, let's go. I finished uncovering the row and did a little coarse weeding here. And the soil it's clean on this row, but I can tell it's very compacted from the flooding we had this spring. I've also got 2 volunteer sunflowers that popped up. Last year I had a pollinator row in row 2, and so these must have been seeds that the birds dropped from last year. And yeah, look at this beautiful multi-stemmed sunflower. No idea what variety. And you can tell we're in a drought. The sunflower petals are just wilting. There's been no rain for weeks, really. No significant rain. Pardon the plane that's going over conveniently right now. And here, this one looks like a mammoth. I know I planted mammoth last year. Look at the size of this head. Ooh, it's a bumblebee. This thing is massive, my hand for comparison. It's huge. And full of seeds that I'm sure the birds will tear apart. So the rows 3 and 4 are actually neighbor rows. They've been in the garden planting away, harvesting. So it's looking pretty good. Yeah, so down here is where the garlic was planted. See, I've got a lot of creeping Charlie coming into the bed, and down here I have the bane of my existence, red sorrel. This stuff is evil. It spreads by rhizomes. Let's see that. And by seed. It'll set seed and spread those around too. So I got to work on getting rid of this. But yeah, so the plan is actually I'm going to finish prepping probably the front half of this row where I can plant the first 2 trees. I'm going to plant them 16 feet apart on center. And I'm leaving space. Let me whirl around here. Pardon me. Whoop. Leaving space down at this end for 2 more trees. You can see my mark right there for one of them. In the spring, I plan to get I hope, a multi-variety plum and a Macintosh, single Macintosh, hopefully a whip that I can train into an espalier. But that won't be until spring. My goal right now is to get a tree planted right here and up here in this little slash here. So the next step for me is to grab the tractor and go get some topsoil and fill in this aisleway with topsoil. And again, I think I'm only going to do about half the row to just beyond where the second tree is going to be planted, just so I know that I have enough time to get this done today and get these 2 trees in the ground. And I have some weeding work to do on the second half of the bed for the 2 trees that I plan to get next spring. But that can wait, prioritizing. So yeah, get some topsoil, fill this in, and then get a good load of compost, put that over everything, and then I'll plant the trees. I put in the topsoil and compost mixture into the top of the aisleway between rows 1 and 2 and spread it all out. And now I've dug my holes for the trees. The hole needs to be, I say, 1.5 times the size of the root ball. I just want to make sure that there's 3-4 inches around the root ball of the tree that I can tuck good material around. And if you want to go bigger, that's fine. But in this rocky soil, sometimes it's a little bit tough. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is pop this in the hole and show you how I'm going to set this up, hopefully for success. All right. So this tree's been in the pot for a while. So I'm just going to gently tease some of these roots out. I'm not going to go too crazy, but I don't want them to wrap around the hole. I want them to start kind of feeling their way out into the native soil. Oop, a couple apples on this one. So I'm just gently going to tease this a little bit. And again, I don't want to go too crazy, but any of the big roots that are wrapped around, I want to kind of loosen up. And this tree definitely has a lean to it. It's kind of leaning a little bit like, toward one side. So I'm going to put that side toward me, which is where the fence is going to be, which will just make it easier to tie into the fence. All right, so I'm going to plunk it in the hole. Like so, and actually, wow, it's almost like I planned it. So this is a grafted tree, and at the base here is a graft where it was grafted onto the rootstock. You do not want to plant it so that this graft is covered. It'll shoot suckers up, and it could rot the graft. So you want to make sure that the graft is above the soil level. The general rule is you don't want to plant this any deeper than it was in the pot. So we'll make sure to keep that up a little bit. I like to plant my trees just slightly proud of the soil level, and then you bring mulch in and you can cover up, make sure that root ball is covered well with mulch. Yeah, so the other thing I'm going to do is add a bag of this. I don't know if you can see it through the tree. It is Moo Plant Tree and Shrub Mix from Moo. This is a company out of Vermont, and they make great stuff. I am not sponsored by, nor am I affiliated with this company. I just use their products all the time. I love their products. A genuine fan of Moo products. So I use this all the time for trees, shrubs. I even use it in perennials. Especially for like larger perennials. I'll mix this in. So I'm going to mix this in with the soil and the compost and use that to fill the hole with. And I'm going to save some and sort of top dress around the top with it. It's fabulous stuff. So I figure I use about half the bag to mix in with the native soil, and then the other half to rocks to top dress. So the native soil, I've got a mix of compost in it already from what I top dressed, and then I'm just going to mix some of this in there as well, get it all mixed in. And at this point I only go about half to 2/3 of the way up, and I make sure I tamp it in really well, and then I'm going to water. I want to give the root ball a good soaking. before I cover the rest of it up. Make sure it has good moisture. All right. And again, we tamp everything down firmly. Bring in some more compost. And then at this point, I usually dump the rest of the bag with Moo-Doo. Spread that out. Again, being careful not to cover this graft. There. And then I'll probably add some more compost to this bed, and eventually I'm going to put wood chips on top of all this, all around this, to keep the weeds down. But for now, first tree planted. Okay, well, the trees are planted, and I've at least accomplished that goal today. I had to stop for a little bit because we had a thunderstorm come through, actually just to the south of us, and it didn't actually go over us, but the thunder was pretty loud, so I chose to go inside and be safe. And so that delayed me another half hour, 45 minutes or so while that worked its way through. But I came back out and finished planting the 2 trees. And yeah, I'm gonna go see if I can find my husband. He's up in the barn extracting honey today, and see if he can help me get these fencing pieces in so that we can get those up hopefully today and start tying these trees in. We're gonna use 16-foot hog panels. They're 16 feet long and I believe about 4 feet or so high. And we're going to tie them to T-posts, just regular metal T-posts that you buy at your local box store, and tie them high enough that the top of this espalier will be able to be fastened to the fence. And yeah, I'll show you all that in just a bit. So here we have the finished product. It's mostly straight, not quite perfectly straight, but that's okay. Pardon the wind, it's picking up. So we used T-posts, 7-foot T-posts, and we used 4 of them per 16-foot hog panel. We tried to put the trees at about the 8-foot mark, so the trunk of the tree is right in the middle of the fencing, and then put 2 posts on either side of it, but far enough away that it's not infringing on the root ball as it currently stands, and the roots will just grow around those T-posts. And then we butted the second panel up against the first one and tied them together with wire. And did the same thing down here with the pear. Tried to center the fence. It actually just kind of worked out. My spacing wasn't too bad. So the trunk of the pear tree is along one of these vertical pieces of wire, and then again put 2 T-posts on either side. You know, so it's not hitting the root ball such that it is today. And yeah, an additional post on either end. So this whole structure should, I hope, remain stable for many years to come. And then we will add, next spring, we'll add 2 more panels and 2 more trees further down. A plum, hopefully a multi-variety plum. And then I'd like to put a Macintosh in here because I love Macintosh. And the 6 variety apple over here does not have Macintosh on it. Let's see. Oh yeah, we fastened the hog panels to the T-posts with wire in multiple spots down the length, so it stays firm. And I'll probably add more wire as I have time. But yeah, so this structure should, I hope, work for my new Espaliered fruit tree project. Now, I came into this project a little unprepared. I didn't get proper ties for the fruit trees, so I have them on order, and I will show them to you once I get them. But what I did was I just used jute twine, which is you know, a gentle tie. It's not going to abrade the bark of the tree in any way. And I just tied the tree branches with jute twine horizontally along one of the horizontal wires of the cattle panel. And I also fastened the tree to the fence with jute twine. Again, just temporarily keep the tree from moving in the wind. It's pretty windy in this spot. So just keep the tree stabilized until I can get the ties in and do that properly. So yeah, they're firmly secured to the fence. They're not going to blow around and rub branches on anything. And so this'll hold until I can get the proper ties. Well, that is it for this project. It's a 2-day project. Didn't get it all done in 1 day, but it's done. Another project off my list for this year. And I'm happy that I got these trees finally in the ground in some good soil, and hopefully they'll be happy. I should say that, and I didn't mention this earlier, the primary motivation for me doing this project was that I've been struggling so bad with fruit trees out in our pasture. When we first moved here, after we put the market garden in, we designated the area around it for various fruit trees outside the garden fence. And below this garden, it slopes down a bit, and thought that, you know, having sort of a mini orchard on the slope would be kind of cool. The problem is the soil here is really, really poor, and there's actually a big section of ledge that pops out just below the surface, partway down the hill. So it became clear that the soil, we weren't going to be able to add enough amendments to the soil to be able to have healthy trees on that soil. And then the deer. We've struggled with fencing the individual trees off. I've forgotten to fence trees. But even the ones that were fenced, we've had bucks come in and just trash the fencing. So it's a real struggle. I've got 2 trees out there, a Macintosh and a Cortland apple, that are still alive, and their canopies are now above deer height. So we may eventually get some fruit on them. But the little trees have really suffered. So with all the extra space I have in the market garden, I figured, why not bring fruit trees inside the market garden, where it's fenced off with deer-proof fencing, and the soil, these rows I've been working on for at least like 8 years, adding amendments and integrating, you know, compost and manures. into the soil and growing greens, and then incorporating the roots and the dead material back into the soil. So the soil here is much better. It's got a good layer of organic matter on top, and the soil right here in general is a little bit better than the soil just over the hill. So once that thought occurred to me, I was like, I'm in. I'm going full guns into this project, and I sourced a couple of already espaliered fruit trees at my local nursery. I knew I wanted to do espaliered or some sort of trained apples, just to keep the size limited and compact, rather than have a full-size tree. Plus, we're not growing for sale, just growing for our own eating, primarily my eating. I'm the fruit eater in the family. So, we will be able to make more than enough, grow more than enough fruit for us in a small scale like this. So that was the motivation behind this whole project, and I'm pretty excited to see how it goes. I'm by no means a fruit tree expert. I'm learning as I go, and I'm going to be doing a lot of studying over the winter to see what I can do to ensure that these actually start producing fruit soon. So I hope you'll join me in following how this goes. And if you have enjoyed this video and you like this content, this kind of stuff, please consider subscribing to my channel, liking this video, making a comment. All of that helps my channel, and I really, really appreciate it. For now, I'm going to go inside and look at my to-do list and see what's next. Thank you again for joining me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.